Hello, everybody. Welcome to our November show of ACM Teams Europe. We almost made it to the end of 2021. Almost. 2 more shows to go. Today, we have a very interesting show, and I'm very excited actually about this because by now you should know us. By now, quick introduction. We have Carolina, Alexander, Amanda, Michael, me, myself, and Edita, of course. Edita will join us a little bit later because unfortunately she has to work for customers. Duh. But okay. And we are presenting a very exciting topic today. Today's show is all about third-party apps in Teams. Do we have the correct title, Alex? Yes, here we go. Third-party apps in Teams. And we are going to have a panel discussion with Florian, Pflanz, Robert Muslow, and Thiemo Laubach. And I'm very excited because there are so many third-party application possibilities within Teams and so many possibilities to use them and to extend the Teams experience for the user. And I have a lot of questions, and I guess maybe you have as well. So I would say, without further ado, let's introduce our guests, please. Shall we?
Yeah, we should do so, but unfortunately, we are not all in place, still missing someone, but we welcome here Thiemo Laubach and Robert Muslow. Happy to have you here in the show. Hi, Thiemo. Hi, Robert.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there. Yeah, Florian is still missing. I'm trying to catch him. We'll see if he comes maybe a little bit later. So maybe Thiemo, Robert, can you introduce yourself, please, to our viewers, and where are you from? What are you doing? Please give us a small introduction.
Robert, go ahead.
Great. Yes. Hey, guys. I'm super happy to be here again. So I'm Robert. I'm also MVP for Office Apps and Services and working for contexxt.ai as a chief evangelist. And we have a bot as a third-party solution. So therefore we are here. And many of you may know me as Mr. Governance, so in line with Mr. OneDrive, let's to be honest, because previously I worked for AvePoint, and they also did a lot of third-party apps around the Microsoft stack. And therefore I'm more than happy to join today and share my experience about this.
Thank you very much.
You always make me feel unfamous because I'm the only not MVP in the, here right now. But anyway, my name is Thiemo. I've been working for the system integrator companies for like 20 years now, and I've always been the one who's asking, okay, I understand that's technology, but what benefit does the user get from it? And as Microsoft 365 and everything like this came up, and the term adoption actually came up, I kind of dealt with adoption since years before it was named adoption in the Microsoft context. And this is where actually Robert and I met, because right now we're at the same company. And it's not that we're battling a lot, but well, if he might be the technical guy who cares for it must be secure, and we need this governance stuff, and I'm the one, but governance kills happiness, governance kills adoption. Actually, I want to use this, but you forbid me, blah blah blah. And that's the stuff we do. And so I care for the people. Well, actually Robert does too, but both from kind of a different perspective, and we kind of two pieces of one whole, of one. I think you know what I mean. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. You are experts in this stage. I see this here extremely. So this is really cool. And as you might know, we are also in our topics is also adoption. And of course, one part is the governance part. So it's interesting to hear, because you also have your own product in this case. Maybe we have later on time to talk about this third-party app, what you can build for adoption and governance. So, but first of all, maybe we have to talk about why is governance so important, especially in Teams user adoption. I think we should talk about this mainly So Thiemo, Robert, I can put us all on a big stage here. Maybe this is a little bit better. What is your opinion? Why is it so important? Or do the people, the customers, have enough knowledge about the governance part in user adoption?
You mean with the users, the end users, or the users?
No, well, the persons who are in place to do this project, yeah, who are responsible for this project. Sorry, who are responsible for adoption. Well, this is what I see. I'm sorry. What I see is that they often do not know anything about governance.
Yep.
So I just want to prove if you have the same opinion.
Yep. I meet customers again and again, and also when sharing with you guys here from the ACM board, what I heard from your customers, that many of them are not really aware of the part or of the role of governance in the adoption game. Because for me, governance, let's keep this word for now, is really a tool to make it easy for the end users, to make it easy to do the right things. And as you may know, as my previous employer, we use governance to have a kind of some barriers left and right, so that users are not able to make a wrong step over these barriers. So they're always in line with these barriers and they cannot make a mistake. So this means always good user experience because they're always right. And taking this this scenario, therefore I would say governance is of course an important topic for user adoption.
Yeah. Thiemo, any add-ons?
The thing is, if you start talking to customers and I think the time where they have no clue that it's very important, it's kind of over. But my experience is that they use governance as an excuse to shut off everything. In sense of okay, we do have to do Teams now because of reasons, and we don't know how to deal with this whole new topics of cloud stuff. So let's shut up everything. But that's not the idea of governance. And if you start talking to them, kind of it parts into a technical governance and into an organizational governance. And sometimes a battle between those occurs. And when I, as the adoption guy and with funny shirts, come to some IT people and they think I want to convince them to give up their governance, and I say, no, you're the guys who set the rules where people can do things in kind of that's the rules. And if you if you're in finance or insurance or something, you're regulated, so you need to have strict things in place so that you're secure and your CEO doesn't want to go to prison and stuff like that. And in other companies, like we work with a company with 20 people, so we can act more freely. We can do stuff, but if you want to talk to 20 people, you do it in a Monday morning meeting and set up an organizational rule that please don't share this and that with customers, blah. And there's so much space to find the right way for each customer, but I don't want to. Battle is the only word that occurs to me. Robert, you can jump in on this maybe, but if you if the technical guys want to governance everything. We are the people who say, yeah, okay, you could do this, but maybe it's kind of an empowerment thing that people learn to behave in a new environment and they learn how to do things differently, not sending things per mail, and this is the key of the discussion I do in custom environments. Where's the line for the organization?
Yeah, I really got the point. Maybe they learn, but then you always have to tell them also, so they can learn. So as what I've seen in customer solutions is that they even don't tell them something, so they have to find out on their own, and this might be a big problem, I think. So what we want to talk today about is third-party apps, maybe for governance and also for adoption, third-party apps in Teams. And you have a big role in this because you did a great app, and maybe we talk about it just to give our viewers an introduction in what you have done. This is also new land for you. You're not a typical app developer, correct? But you started and you did a great job there. Maybe you can talk a little bit about this and how this helps maybe customers using this app, what you've done in this special topic.
I think, Robert, I think both of us always have an answer to any question. So let's abwechseln. Let's you go now.
Robert, go for it.
Actually, I thought that you were going to start because you was first in this framework, because actually I'm coming from this field, what you just explained was this technical governance, where I actually coming from. This were the last 7-8 years, my bread and butter, to call it literally from German. But now I switched more into this organizational governance, or we can call it etiquette. So therefore, if I know what to do right, just because somebody told me or somebody taught me how to create a team, or what to do right, what to do wrong, this is for me the nicer way to not being able, to not be allowed to do something. And so therefore, I was also convinced by Thiemo that enabling the people is for me, meanwhile, the better way to drive governance, because it's driving organizational governance, if we want to keep this word, because it drives organizational learning, or the culture of a company. Because with this ongoing reminding, teaching, or explanations, you enable the people to do the right things, and you need less barriers for this. And actually, this is where contexxt.ai's bot is starting to teach the people, or not, I wouldn't say teach, but to give the right hints what they could do differently to be even more effective.
Because actually, Alex kind of asked the right questions. But how the hell should we coach, teach, learn, blah, empower in a company with like 10,000 people, each person individually? And because you all know better than me, and the audience as well, I'm sure, this crazy thing called the Microsoft Graph. For me, speaking non-technical stuff, it's like a database of behavior patterns. It's stored what the people does, what the people do. So if you have a rule saying, for reasons, you're not allowed to share stuff via blah blah blah, and people trying to do that, you could let the bot tell the people, okay, there's a rule, and they explain that they realize the behavior of the people. And give them a tip or a hint. Why can't you share a file like you're just going to do this? And this is the other. Please do it like this and that. But not coming from this top-down teaching learning thing. Somebody assumes that somebody must know something. That's top-down. But if you know about what people actually is doing, what the people are actually doing every day, and you 5 people I'm looking at, you behave differently in Teams and Outlook and Exchange and whatever. So you might need, each of you, a different tip, a different hint, a different whatever. You can well, we calculate this first, the wrong word. You can find this this information, what learning situation and sense of governance even this person might have to know to improve blah blah blah. So go to the data you have anyway, and use this data to help the people derive from the actual behavior and not on assumptions. That was the key idea of building the intelligence we built in our machines.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we continue, I would like to take a moment to welcome Florian.
Hey there.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
I also finally found the link. I'm very sorry for my delay. Yeah, but I'm here now.
No problem.
great.
Welcome. Nice to have you. Could you introduce yourself just real quick for our viewers?
Oh, sure. My name is Florian. I'm with Solutions to Share and therefore responsible at the sales and marketing department for distributing and co-developing in terms of UI and UX the Teams Manager and External User Manager, which are our governance products we sell or provide in the Teams Microsoft App Store.
So you know a thing or two about third-party apps and Teams as well?
Yes, I would say so.
Awesome. Then you complete this round.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We haven't had a look, especially in the apps that you provide with your companies, but we just want to talk about the possibilities that we get with third-party apps. And as we heard from Thiemo, his app or the app uses the Graph API data to find out how the users are behave or how they work with Teams. Sorry when I do not say it correct. My English. Oh my God, my English. So, but on the other hand, we also have Florian that they have also an app or more apps, as you just told. But maybe you can also, for some short time, show us or say us what is your app about. So what are you doing there, and how can your app help users in governance and adoption?
All right. Yeah, actually, we are coming from a provisioning engine, which is basically maybe the father of at least the thought of doing governance in SharePoint, and it was quite a while ago when we experienced that the focus we all had when it came to governance was always only IT. So we made IT responsible for storing data. We made IT responsible for life cycles and also for working with SharePoint on one point then also with Teams. And we tried to shift the responsibility and the possibilities of having a clean and nice environment that you can use for a couple of years by building products that bring the end user in the central of attention when it comes to creating a new team. So creating a new team with the Teams Manager would mean have the option of a life cycle, of metadata, of naming conventions, of maybe the option of needing an approval, because a lot of companies also picture their project management or their more complicated work life in Teams, and sometimes there's also a need of, hey, I would need to have a new project. Could you roll it out? It has sensible data in there, maybe in connection with a sensitivity label and stuff like this. So there is, on the one hand, the adoption and to bring people to work with Teams and Microsoft 365 and make it easier and learn how to collaborate there. And there is the need of a long-term solution to have a clean environment, because we can't tell people anymore, hey, just use the new version of Microsoft or just use the new version of SharePoint. It comes out next year. And everybody says, hey, nice, there is a migration path, and then everything is clean again. That's not what happens with the cloud. So you stay for a couple of years at least in the same environment, and this is why you need to keep it clean. And the first thought is always, yes, you teach people, and people will know how to manage themselves, but it's in a lot of cases based on the first cup of coffee you have, or the first situation of your day, how you start working in your environment. And a couple of things can't rely on this situation. For example, how is a OneNote named, or how is a planner named? This should be consistent in a company so everybody can work in a proper manner, and this is why it needs some kind of governance structure.
Yeah, thank you very much, Florian. And I have an interesting question, maybe for Robert. And it goes like, how do users, how can users be overwhelmed when you introduce more and more apps? So we don't speak specially on governance apps here, but there are more apps within Teams. And what do you think? Is it good or bad to have more and more third-party apps using in Teams?
I would say it's bad, especially at the beginning. So you cannot roll out for each little work stream in your app. It's better to integrate them all into once. The team itself is, of course, integrating different apps as tabs or as apps on the left-hand bar. But if you have to say to the people, for this, you have to use this, for this, you have to use this, and for the next, you have to use this, and then you have to use another one. So this is definitely overwhelming, especially if you start rolling out something. So therefore, I always said, focus on the main and most important things. So use case after use case. So this could mean just start with Teams, as many companies are doing this, just as a conferencing tool to use it for the meetings and to use it for calls. And then, yeah, I see it many times, but when only using for calls and meetings, you just scratch on the surface, and you cannot really use what Teams can really offer, including all the connections to other apps. So therefore, then it's up to trainings or, for example, our bot, how you can get the most out of it. And the important thing here is from the training, sure, you can train the users. For this workstream, use this app. For the next, use the other app. But what the statistics shows us, after 1 hour, we forgot already 50% what we just heard. On the next day, we lost already 70%. So it's of course hard to really learn then something for which work stream I should use which app. And when then a little bot is helping you and remind you once a week or once a month, hey, we noticed you still haven't used this, what we asked you to do. Maybe you have forgotten it, or maybe you don't know. Here's a link how it goes. And therefore, train on a constant basis is helping to not overwhelm the users.
It's kind of interesting, but the first part in this is to find the use cases for the apps, or find the apps for the use cases. So maybe Florian, Thiemo is away. Here we go. Thiemo is back again. Pizza boy is there.
No, actually, it's the first time ever a child comes home too early.
Really?
Anyway.
So great, you have still time for us. The question what I had is for you is, as Robert told us, you need to find the use cases for the apps or the apps for the use cases. So do you have a special idea for us, or something what our viewers can take with them, how to find the use cases for apps?
Yeah. I've kind of two answers to the question. The first of all, when we started the company, we created a methodological workshop thing called adoption mining, which actually, simplified, it deals with two questions, a highly sophisticated way, of course. But the key questions are, what sucks at work? Exactly, Michael. Exactly. And if this and that, okay, why? Because exactly, but why? Is it because you? Why? We're talking about the context of communication collaboration. If someone tells you the bus driver in the morning stinks, well, even then, do you have do you have working from anywhere policy? No, we don't. So go to IT. But ask the people what sucks at work. And the other question is, but why are you here? And you get an insight in their their real life working situation, and you find out they are denying the implementation of Teams because they don't want to have more conversations in an office where designed for 2 people, having 3 people in it. Or you find out a lot of things. And so you come from the use case and you derive ein Haus. Still kids. And you from you derive the value they get from it. If you, for example, that's a good example. This is something assistants used at a client a lot every day, and it was paperwork. And getting rid of this thing means gain 4 hours a day. So we didn't talk to them about do you want to use an app or Teams or whatever. So we talked to them, do you want to have 4 hours of time every day? And they said yes. Do you want to try something that to help us understand how you work, and if it brings the value you want? Yes, of course. So we gave them something. We gave them Teams. We gave them stuff. And the way to understand what people are really doing, but not assume what people are really doing. So, but find out what they're really doing, and then give them the value. And that answer first answer. And the second thing is kind of coming back to Robert as well. It's an experience that clients, organizations talk to us. How can we? I start new. They're asking us what you did with your bot stuff, framework, learning detection, intervention engine thing. Could we use this as a kind of middleware to blah blah blah? Because they know if they give another app and another chatbot and the third chatbot and the 17th chatbot, the users they don't want it. They want one thing which might talk in the background with other things to give them the information they need at one place. And this idea, while there's the Teams platform thought comes up as well. So it's not that putting like 100 apps like everybody does with the smartphones, just install some apps, but centralize and connect things. And so the experience is clients are afraid of having too much apps. And Robert, you could jump in on this. Almost any customer we start talking to who wants to have this adoption bot we're building. Oh yeah, you can try it. Yeah, I can download it. Third-party apps are blocked by default. So there comes a governance rule who makes it, who disables like champions people in an organization to try out things. So they need to go. It's an IT discussion. Oh, please enable third parties. Oh, we can do that. Oh, this is blah blah blah. But the users, they have to learn blah blah blah. But yeah. And then learning is an HR thing, and this whole situation is kind of, it's kind of a battle between regulating and enabling.
Yeah. That leads me to the next question, and I would like to ask Florian. We just talked about the problem of apps and that the apps may be used by the users. What is your opinion? Who should own apps in Teams? Who should be responsible?
Interesting question. As I would raise this question already for applications that are coming from Microsoft themselves, because we know if we do a Teams introduction, or we are part of a Teams introduction and starting with Microsoft 365 in a lot of companies, that they haven't thought about Power BI or Microsoft Flow and Power Apps, and so the Power Platform. And these applications are, in most cases, even when somebody blocked the third-party applications, are allowed in a company, and they already struggle with getting to know what they could use it for, and so on. So I have totally to agree with Robert. I think it has to be a way of going into it very slowly and together with a champion user concept, and together with a good ACM concept to figure out what is necessary. We on the other hand, we experienced that ridiculously many companies don't shut down their app store. So that's a good thing for us actually, because we have an application in the store and it gets downloaded a couple of hundred times a month. And that's, for us, it's a nice thing, but it already shows us how many companies didn't think about this process, and they did not think about how much information they can provide their users with. And that's a very, very big issue, because not only good third-party applications are in the store, there are many ones where I would say I have no idea where the data goes. So I would always try to find the steps a company wants to go, and then say, okay, there is maybe a way we can enhance this step or make it better, make it easier with a bot that helps your users getting into Teams, or with a governance application that makes it easier to keep it clean, and then going with an adoption process to the next step and say, okay, what are your processes? What do we need to digitalize? And this is also a point where a Power Platform or Power Apps are now in the German-speaking area, at least. A lot of companies say, yeah, we do have a couple of processes we need to digitalize, and we want to get them into Teams. And then that's the next step. When we look at the App Store, I don't know if you have been there in the last couple of weeks, there are so many applications, and by at least 80% of them, I have no idea what I would use them for. And we ourselves do have a CEO that always buys new applications. There are like platforms where you can buy new IT applications for lifetime licenses. They're like $1,000, and then you have them forever. We do have tons of these applications outside of Teams, and it's pretty hard to at least get your team to use one of them. And I think that's exact the same problem people have in Teams. There's no difference.
Sorry,
I just want to ask you asked who owns the apps, because technically it's mostly the administrator, of course, to allow this or not. But I want more transition this question about who owns the use case, because for some apps, so like this governance stuff and so on, maybe it's more the IT security or something like this. Why I consider, for example, this bot that we have is more for change managers, for HR, to really drive the use case, what they are following with this.
Yeah, it's in a lot of cases it's maybe the topic. You're right. So when we talk about governance, it's mostly the IT, to be honest. But if we would talk about Viva Connections, it's probably internal communications that should own it, at least when based on the topic it's good for.
I will open the round. Sorry, I will open the round here, and we have a question from the viewers. Andrew is asking, and I don't know who might answer this question best. So here we go. Third-party apps in Teams. Any suggestions or best practice tips how to manage access, security, and business continuity, disaster recovery? What do you recommend? So what do you recommend? Manage access, security, and business continuity. Disaster recovery for third-party apps.
Well, maybe to open up this question, something that you said, Florian, earlier is you just mentioned that there are apps out there in the Teams store which are where you don't have the idea where the data goes and how to figure it out. So which are the good apps and which are the bad apps? That's difficult to decide, right? Or how to look into it. And even if I get now apps now, I have to ask myself, how do I manage them? How do I manage the access and the security, of course?
Yeah.
So I think this is.
So we as a German company have always been under the impression that Microsoft has a very, very good process of checking out what the app is actually doing. To be honest, they do. They check really a lot of things, but it's not about saving the data on a certain place. So that's not what the process of surveying the application from Microsoft is about. It's about checking out if it works properly, and they do that very, very, very good. But where the data lies is just in the compliance or security notes of the application, if you're lucky. So everybody who takes a third-party app into review needs to check out, is this a software as a service solution? Where is the data stored? Is it in Germany? Is it in Europe? Is it somewhere else? Is there maybe a SQL server that is connected to it? That's possible. And then going to which third-party apps you could use for controlling the access. I would say there are many and there are none, because a lot of them just cover a part of what you've been asking for. So business continuity, I would say it's should be a good governance product that gives you the option of having a good naming conventions and giving the people the option of managing their projects properly. That's something you need for business continuity, but something you need for security, for recovery. I would say, as far as I know, there is no application available in the App Store. On other places, yes, but not as a third-party application in the App Store with Microsoft.
Okay, so this is cool. This leads also to my next question, and I'm happy to have app developers here. And maybe Thiemo, I will give you the stage here, because my question is, what's the best tip for how to start building apps? You haven't done that before, but you started with it. So, do you have any tips on this?
I think I might hand over to Sherrod, but the best thing, well, do it. It's kind of yeah, find something people really need.
Yeah.
Find something that creates value. If you start building the 8th poly, yeah, okay. I don't want to force anybody to leave something, but for me, find something where I think people really have a value from it, and then go for it.
I would say also to add something on a technical level to it. A lot of vendors we talked to that have been asking us, hey, you have apps in the store and you've been building third-party applications, had the idea of building a Power application based on the Power platform. That's where I would say don't do it. Based on a business decision, because if you want to build a third-party application, it should be on some level be not dependent on a pricing of another product. And a lot of companies have done that in the future, and then Microsoft has a new strategy, and then the product somehow depends completely on this strategy. And you are a third-party vendor, and if but you still have some kind of responsibility over your users and your customers, and then you would need to say, yes, now our product is from now to tomorrow, it's like 1/3 more expensive because the background technology is more expensive. That's always a bad argument when it comes to making good business with such an application.
A challenge we're facing, well, actually it's two challenges. Lots of apps do something like they do something very specific for manufacturing. They do a certain process. They do something people understand very quickly. And if they come to us so what exactly does your app do? We empower people. So we're not the process X or whatever. We help people to understand. Okay. What industry is it for? It's change and adoption. So it's not industry specific. It's for everybody. Okay. But so that's actually that's a challenge. Sales-wise, that's a challenge. Or if you go to Microsoft and they ask for which vertical we can address with, well, every vertical. But are there some specifics for manufacturing that I could? So building, picking something that's not that you want to build in teams. to improve a process that's easy to understand. And you can say, okay, I have this process. I look at this app. I don't have this process. I don't look at this app. And that's actually a challenge for me, marketing and sales thinking, to get the idea of this learning detection and platform thing in people's heads, because it's not this one use case we're building in this app. And I find it still challenging to get this into people's heads.
Yeah. So, Michael,
I totally agree, even if we are from a complete different approach when it comes to a third-party application, but you're perfectly right. That's the same question we have to answer all the time. Which industry is it? For what is it good for? Who could use it best? Yeah.
Okay. I just want to lead over to Michael. Michael, you also had one other question.
Yes, actually I do. It's a little bit connecting to the question we had earlier from Andrew McCullum from our viewers. Security, how to manage security. So we've seen that there is no really some best practices yet how to manage security or access about third-party apps. And something I think all of you said earlier, that we have the possibility to analyze user behavior via the Graph API to make our third-party app or our bot like really helpful. But that actually sounds like it would we can gather user data with the Graph API, and that does sound kind of unsecure actually. So if there are third-party apps that gather user data, how do we ensure where the data lies? Or can I access this? Can I see this process somewhere? Do I see which user data that is gathered with third-party apps in general, maybe? Or is it a big secret?
It always depends on the infrastructure often regarding third-party app, I would say. So when speaking for our analytics platform with regarding bot, it always depends on the permission that you grant to regarding managed identity to access a Graph API. And this can be very, very granular. So for example, in our case, it's just about reading information. And only if you also want to get planner reports, so how the users are using planner, how effectively are using their planner, only then you need an additional right. You maybe know this limitation of planner Graph API, so that you need to impersonate a user. So therefore, we have a very granular approach to assign these permissions. And when then accessing this data, this is all anonymized, so that only an algorithm behind understands with a double check to the Active Directory ID what user has now which kind of working pattern. But in regards to Germany, we all know, oh my God, they're reading out if the people do a lot or not, if they're lazy and so on. We cannot do this because we are the working council, we can't allow. No, not at all, because this is about, as Thiemo already said, enabling the people. And this data can always be seen, what kind of data it is. And usually when I look into the databases, there are a lot of zeros and ones because it's a value true or false. So I cannot really do anything with this information, to be honest. But in very special scenarios, we also have an in-tenant solution. This means customer can say all the data that gets read out stays in our tenant. There's nothing going to contexxt.ai or something like this. So even this is counted for the German data security laws.
Yeah, and adding a short thing is because, oh, you are gathering data, people, you're bad. The simple question is, we don't. The data we use is there anyway. Every organization using Microsoft 365 has this data. We just look at it and analyze and do stuff with it. Not do stuff with streichen, erase, do stuff with it. We do exactly that what Robert just said, but the most important thing, everybody, oh, you're gathering data about our people. No, it's there. We just use it and help the people with insights. Yeah, I think you get what I mean. We don't gather any data because it's there.
Data is only bad for the people who don't use it, right?
Yes.
So actually, we are all working with one of the biggest data collectors on that planet. So first of all, I would say, from our perspective at least, as app developers, it's not a bad thing to collect data. But I have to agree in the German-speaking area, so in the Dachraum, as we call it, there needs to be a solution that is, possible to install in the customer's tenant. So which is basically a shredded down on-premise solution, which is possible, and then you can keep your data. And yeah, to be honest, in the rest of the world, that's not a topic. They can really easily sell software as a service solutions as long as you are clear on how you save and work with data. With big German customers and DACH customers, it's usually installation in their own tenant, and then that's fine. And then also the Datenschutzbeauftragte, as the German says, is happy.
Yeah. So
one follow-up, just really quick. So what I can get from that is maybe another answer to Andrew, who asked earlier how to see the security of good apps. If an app doesn't provide me with any information where they are stored data and which data they store, maybe they probably the best idea is to not use it, right?
Yeah, they should at least have a sheet, as we all use what Microsoft calls the Graph API. It should at least list the rights of the Graph API and say what it does with these rights. That's, I think, the minimum you should get as information from the third-party vendor.
Awesome. Yeah.
Also, note to Andrew for all these best practices. So as I was traveling across Europe for the governance, I surveyed more than 130 different IT administrators across 80 different companies, what they are using or what they need for governance to drive adoption. And yeah, this is of course summarized. So if you need more information on this, so what are then the best practices, what other companies use, I'm more than happy to share this with you.
Yeah, pretty cool, Robert. Thank you very much. This leads to one of the last questions. I think we are further in time. When you produce apps or you develop apps, you might have the same problem because we are talking about app adoption. So it doesn't work like here it is, the contexxt.ai bot. So how is the adoption working there, the app adoption, and which role do the champions maybe have in this case? Robert, maybe you're on stage.
Yeah, in my opinion, adoption goes all with communication. Doesn't matter if the entire teams or whatever collaboration tool you're rolling out, but also the regarding third-party apps. So it's not about just, oh, something is here and only one guy suddenly noticed it. I can speak for SAP, for SAP, for example. They did it this way because they are very eager to use these teams, and therefore suddenly it popped up and everybody started to use it. But this is an exception. Usually when you're rolling something out, the people do not really realize and do not find it out. So therefore, really start a communication campaign around it. How to use it, what are the benefits, what makes it easier for your daily work, for your daily life, and this is how you can also get adoption for new apps.
Yeah. Maybe Thiemo, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, I recently had a 3 minutes pitch thing, and after that I was grilled from the judges, and one lady asked, how do we mitigate that people are not intimidated and stuff by our bot? And I told her, I just looked at what Kai told me last week. He said, hey, Thiemo, you're owner of at least one team that doesn't have channels, but that's just the general channel. And I looked at it. Damn, you're right. Yeah. Should I explain to you why is it useful to have more than the channel? Yeah, please do. And the day before, that's actually the best thing. I realized that you sent a lot of short messages recently to a lot of people. Well, what the bot is telling me in a very friendly way is stop messing people. They don't like it. And if you want to improve, have a look at this short Giphy, have a look at this video, read something. And the feeling when I get proactively addressed by the bot is it's always, oh yeah, you're right, that's true, and I want to improve, and it's helpful. So it's never the go away thing. And this kind of, I won't say this, it's built-in adoption, but it's different than hassling people. Oh, use me, and they have to do something. They just get something that it's with hohe Wahrscheinlichkeit that's very likely to help them, because it's true that they do what bot says they are doing, and might want to improve. So for us, the app adoption is kind of built in, and for all the other apps, there must be value.
Yeah, Florian, what about your apps you got? It's also a very strict one, because the people do have to use different sites to get their goal, as they have done it before, for especially building up new teams in Teams. So how is user adoption, or what's your best practice for app adoption, especially in your case?
Yeah, usually we work together with ACMs, so adoption and change managers, that bring it together with the new strategy into the new environments. So most of what we do is always together with the partner, and it's a lot of times part of the adoption, as it is part of the governance strategy, and governance strategy is usually implied or implemented together with a consultancy effort, if you will. We do have trouble with customers that think because they have a governance app, they don't need any adoption, because it is just set up once and then everything is nice because the user can't do any harm. These are the customers that have definitely the most struggle, because every application needs adoption. It doesn't matter which one it is, even a Power BI, and especially a Power BI maybe, but even the smaller ones, people need to know, oh, it's there. That's how it works. I'm allowed to do it. And that's why it can help. Maybe not only because the user sees that it can help me, because my company also thinks it can provide better processes, that everybody is more successful, productive, whatever.
Yeah, this is a good word for the end. So I would like to thank you guys. We are gentlemen's round here, so we have some ladies back on stage. I will bring you back on stage, ladies. We have. Thank you very much for your time to share your thoughts about this topic. And if somebody is interested in, just search for what contexxt.ai bot, or how does it is it pronounced?
It's Kai Adoption Bot. Just search for Kai, written with a C.
And the Teams manager, Florian, correct. Okay, let's have a look. So thank you very much for your time, and maybe we'll see later next year again. That would be great. And thank you very much for so far.
Thanks to you.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Alex. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Yeah. I will come back with the ladies on stage. So, and I will welcome also Edita. Hi. Okay, Michael is away, Amanda is away, so we are on our own here. The last minutes, I would like to share once more our screen, because what I want to tell you is that we have also, first of all, tell us what you think around this discussion. What do you think, Edita? Did you like it? You came a little bit later. Did you see?
Yeah, and right now I'm just regretting that I joined so late. But yeah, thank you so much. Very interesting insights.
Yeah, so everybody who joined a little later, you can watch this on YouTube on our channel on ACM Teams Europe, or just go on our website. Carolina, what do you say?
I think I loved when we had questions and comments in the chat, and very, very great experts here in our show today about the third-party applications. So excellent show, even though I was in the backstage taking care of the chat.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for this. And so let's see. Our next meeting will be, Christmas special on 21st of December. We're very excited. Last time we had also some kind of hats and something like that. Do I remember correctly?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that was a special Christmas.
The red hat. Okay, so the topic will be from SharePoint intranets to modern collaboration platforms, and we are happy to have maybe especially guests and experts on this, but we're still here I'm planning this. So if you want to come back to us on 21st of December, let's see. No, so this is all. I can stop sharing here. Thank you very much. Ladies, do you have something for the viewers?
We hope to see you in December, and then it's already almost Christmas.
Yeah, the year is over, yeah? Okay, so we'll see you in December. Have a great day. Thank you very much also to our guests and my colleagues. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.